All right, Warrior fans and surrounding areas. It's Podcast Wednesday. And right now, we're going to be talking Toloso Midway Warriors football with the athletic director, head football coach, James Villarreal on the Coach V Weekly Podcast. Coach, how you doing?
Doing good, man.
All right. And Coach, we started going live, right? Like we're going to go, we've been working on this for a couple of weeks here to try to go live. It's easier. And so hopefully I don't make any mistakes. I've done this before, but it's been quite a while. But it's easier for people to tune in wherever they're at and catch it. They don't have to wait till the next day and then things happen. So we are live here on the Gridiron 64 Sports Network, and we're going to be talking TM Warrior football. Coach, the first thing I want to do is congratulate you on the win this past Friday against Heavenville, a 34-6 win. The Warriors are 4-0, so congratulations to you, your assistant coaches, and the Warriors. We're off to a great start. You can't be better off than we are now. Although I know that the schedule gets a little bit tougher in the next couple
Yep.
of weeks, and we'll definitely talk with Coach about one of those teams and get his thoughts here on the team they're going to be playing on Friday. But before we do that, Coach, I definitely want to recap the game against Heavenville. The starting quarterback, Brayson Bazile, did not play. You had your sophomore backup quarterback. We've had him on the podcast, Joaquin Trevino. I got to tell you, we had the offensive coordinator, Coach Keith Albert, on Monday's podcast. And he talked a little bit about the offense, and he did kind of talk a little bit about Joaquin and what the game plan was going in. But, Coach, we didn't pass a lot, but he had 7 carries. That's Joaquin for 105 yards. That was the rushing that he broke that 100-yard mark. Damon Figueroa, of course, 17 carries, 222 yards, 4 TDs. He did what he always does. Talk a little bit about the offense, specifically Joaquin. What did you see from him as a sophomore and being able to break that 100-yard mark?
Yeah, he was pretty nervous, just got his first start in varsity football, as a sophomore quarterback. He's played some corner for us, on defense. And so it wasn't his first start ever. But, being, the signal caller is pretty tough for a sophomore. I thought he did a great job of just managing the game. I don't think we try to do too much with him. We try to throw the ball a little bit. But we just wanted him to manage the game, get everybody lined up, and so I thought he did a really good job of that. And then when we did ask him to read and pull, and he made a couple of really good reads, pulled some balls, and took off. And I think he had a couple of really long runs, and he's a big kid. He's almost about 6'1", and he's pretty solid. He's a well-built kid, so he did a great job, and we're excited about his growth. With him probably being our guy next year, barring any underclassmen kind of beating him out, obviously, yeah, it'll be wide open, but, he's kind of the next guy in line. So it was really exciting to see him out there running around and, doing a good job for us, with our offense.
And then Damian, what can you say about him? Another great performance. Just doing his thing. And I had him on the podcast Monday, Coach, you're right. He thanks the offensive line. He understands that he can't have that success without those big boys there. And Coach Albert, we kind of broke down a little bit about that offensive line. And he talked a little bit about the size, and he said, but the biggest difference this year from last year is a little bit of depth. There's some rotation, right? But he said the speed. He talked a little bit about the lineman. He talked a little bit about the speed. I want to get your thoughts on just kind of elaborate a little bit about the speed. What are you seeing from that offensive line? Because he said some of those guys, they're big, strong, but it's the speed now that's been the difference with some of those rotations having some depth.
Yeah. So this offseason, we really wanted to, that was kind of one of the things we wanted to pinpoint was our lineman speed, because of how we're going to run our offense. We run a lot of outside zone. When you run outside zone, you got to be able to, get out there on the edge with your tackles. You got to be able to take over linemen as you're running. And so, because we feel like Damien does a really good job running that outside zone. And so you can't just have big linemen that kind of are in the way. They got to move. And so, we figured we needed to do that with our offseason. We got them sprinting. We sprint twice a week during our offseason. There's a program called Feed the Cats. A lot of people do it. We did it when I was at Vets. Coach Talbert brought it over from Mathis, and we just kind of continue that because I'm a believer in it. There's kind of some coaches that are and aren't. We're kind of a hybrid. We do a little bit of both of the old school, off season lifting and running and stuff. But we also this is some kind of new age stuff that people are going to. I think you kind of saw it made popular when TCU made their little run a couple years ago. They were real big on it. So it's just about getting kids to run max speed, and so we do that with our linemen. And like he was kind of talking about the miles per hour. We have a system they're like lasers, and so it measures them. So kids sprint full speed, and it measures their flying 10 within those 10 yards. There's a bunch of science to it. I can't tell you everything about it, but you see what it is. It gives you data. It gives you data on kids on where they were, and then the kids kind of see when you do it every week. They're kind of seeing their speed go up. You can tell somebody you look faster. But when you have that quantitative data that's really telling you that you are getting faster, the kids buy into it. So our kids buy into it. We still do it during the season. We sprint, weekly during the season. It's kind of hard right now with our schedule, but we try to fit it in. We actually sprinted today as a team. So it's just a big deal for us. And like we said with Damian, we've seen his speed increasing. Our quarterbacks, everybody really, So we're hoping that it catches on with our receivers now, kind of starting to open up the playbook a little bit. But I think that's really helped our O line is they can move well, and that's been beneficial for us.
It has been big. I mean, you've seen the success now with Damien. I mean, he gets to that third level, like you said, you're not going to catch him. You're going to have speed to catch him and have an angle. It has really helped his speed.
Mhm.
You're seeing what the line is doing, and it's gotten us to a 4-0 record here. The Warriors' total offense of yardage 405. So it has been. No one's been able to slow us down yet, Coach. We have been doing really, really great, and that's as an offensive unit. Everyone buying in and playing hard. Let's go to the defensive side. There's been some improvement there, Coach. You're not from week one now going into week 5. We've seen that, and only holding last Friday's opponent to only 6 points. But I want to talk about number 29. Jathan Ayala, a kid that I haven't really talked a lot about, but looked at his stats. 2 sacks in the game. Kind of tell us a little bit about him. What class is he in, and just his performance and what you saw from him this past Friday against Heavenville.
Yeah, Jathan, he's a kid he's a junior for us, so he's gonna be one of our only returners on the D line. Our D line is pretty senior heavy. It's the only part of our defense that's pretty senior heavy. So he'll be back next year. We're excited about his development. He played JV last year and did a good job on our scout teams, and he's kind of earned his way on the field. He actually earned his black jersey today. We gave it to him, so that's one. He's another black jersey we have. I think we have about 4 on our defense right now. So we're trying to get to 11 to where they earn that deal. But he's done it. Our D-line coach says he's been doing such a great job. And really just for him, it was about finding his role and doing his job, not trying to do too much. And I've told them, I've done D-line a long time. When you do your job as a D-lineman, you continually, play great technique, plays are just going to happen for you. So that's what's kind of happening with him. The sacks he got is just from him doing a great job, playing great technique, and then, those sacks happen.
Yeah, and that defense has been really good. We're going to need them, Coach. We're going to get tested here this week.
Yeah.
We'll get your thoughts about Friday's game. I'm definitely looking forward to that game. Coach, let's talk a little bit about injuries. Is everyone healthy right now going into this game against Carroll on Friday?
Yeah, so Brayson, obviously, everybody knows he was out. He had a little shoulder bang up from London falling. It really wasn't a hit. He kind of fell on the ground, kind of bruised his shoulder. Nothing serious. So we held him out, against Heavenville. Heavenville's, they're a tough nosed team, but I talked to, Coach Montalvo, and he was kind of banged up. They got a bunch of injuries over there. Was kind of down on numbers. So we knew we could play Joaquin and kind of run the football and control the game, with our O line and our defense, and we did that. We wanted to get some other guys in playing, so that was kind of our plan, playing against Hebbronville. Always, historically a tough team, but obviously smaller than us. I'd like to play some. I'm really really excited just as a competitor to play Carroll and Alice, in our non-district. That was the kind of 2 games I really look forward to. I love playing. I just love challenges, and I think I want our team to be challenged. And so I'm excited about playing some competition at the Carroll and Alice type levels this next 2 weeks.
I think the way the schedule was set up was perfect for us, coach. Going into week 1 and 2, there were some things that you wanted to work on. Obviously, we've had a few weeks and 2 scrimmages to get ready and prepared for a Carroll team that I think is going to be tough. The record definitely didn't show it, but we saw them beat Cal Allen.
Yeah.
And I've got some numbers for you. And then Alice, of course, is always tough and well coached out there. So I think for Toloso Midway, this is going to be very two good games to see where we're at going in the district. And the goal is, again, Warrior fans, is to win that district title and get to the second round. And these two teams coming up for us is really going to help us, I think, get there. Hopefully we get the wins, but it's going to be some good football. I'm definitely excited, a little nervous, coach, because watching TM every week now, I it's kind of like they've grown on me, right? Like I'm not from Tuloso Midway, but I don't want to see them lose anymore. Like I'm looking at the stats. This week I was looking at Carroll and what they have, and I mean, because you talk to the players, you and I talk on the podcast, so you're now a warrior, even though you don't live in TM, right? Now you want to see us win, and like I said, when we're not doing good, I find myself, yelling, hey, "What's going on?" Instead of just sitting
Yeah.
there. So it has grown on me. I definitely am excited about what we have done there at Tuloso Midway now. And I'm hoping we get these 2 wins. Coach, I want to kind of turn things around. So we do the Warriors Players podcast on Mondays at 4:30. And this week, Coach brought in one of his assistants. I told Coach that I wanted to start having him talk about one of his assistants at every podcast. I like to be able to talk about your offensive coordinator. A very impressive guy to me. So I was able to talk about the offense, kind of share a little bit more light. You and I talk about it, but he can really get in detail of why they do certain things. Really enjoyed the podcast with him and Damien Figueroa. But I want you to talk a little bit about him. You see him every day, the preparation, and how he prepares and his assistant coaches and the players. What can you tell us about your offensive coordinator, Coach Keith Talbot?
Yeah, Keith is very smart guy. He actually is a math teacher. You don't see very many coordinators that are math teachers. And so, you got to be a smart guy to be able to handle math and teach math. And he teaches math at the high school level. So, he has a good mind. But I think he's done a great job of, I think every offensive coordinator, and this is just from just being a coordinator, period, they kind of have a vision of what they want their offense to be or their defense, whatever it is, right? They have a vision in their head. And in high school, it's tough because you don't get to pick your quarterback. You don't get to pick your running backs. You're not going out and recruiting, or you shouldn't be, so you're not going out there and finding those guys like college and NFL are. So you really have to build your offense around players. And I think he's done a really good job of that this year of seeing what we have and, finding what we do well with our players here at TM. Could we want to be in four wide and throw it around? Yeah, we could try that, but why? Whenever we're running the ball and imposing our will on people that we've played, that's kind of been we've kind of found our identity. And I think he's done a great job. I actually told him I thought he called a really good game, having a backup quarterback in, and limiting what he can do to hurt you, but make him help you more, and because it is hard for a kid, first time starting, and he's a sophomore and hasn't played much quarterback and really at all, even in games and not even in backup time, he hasn't really got in there. So I think the whole staff did a really good job of getting the game plan to our kids and executing that game plan. No turnovers, that's big. So I thought he does a good job of that. I think he's very comfortable with his staff. My goal when I took over was to get him as much help as I had a really good. I inherited a really good defensive staff when I got here. I didn't get rid of anybody. I didn't lose anybody. I think we work well together. You saw that from our success we had last year. And so my big goal was to get him, like, who do you want? Like, what, and so he wanted Coach Gonzalez, who he worked with the Mathis. So we made it happen. I made it happen. I was like, I'm going to find a way to hire him. And you have to have a good O-line guy. I mean, you just have to. So that was kind of one of our goals. And I think they're comfortable in the offensive room. They all get along. They all are trying they all have the same goals. So I think that's important for a staff. I've seen it where it's not like that, and I always wanted my staff just to all be on the same page. And I don't want yes men. I want people with ideas. I think Bear Bryant said I've never hired anybody that wasn't smarter than me. And so I want those guys to be creative and I want them to use their creativity to beat people and run the football and throw the ball and just move the chains. And that's kind of what we're going to do is play complementary football, get first downs and play good defense. And I think when that happens, good things happen.
It does, and it's been happening for us. And so Brayson will be back this
Yes,
this game.
yes.
Okay, yeah, I thought Joaquin Trevino did good for a sophomore, and to be able to put him in situations where his strengths were. Look, you're a sophomore, you don't really play a lot of quarterback, and you run the ball a few times, and you break that 100-yard. You got to be, I mean, you got to be thrilled. You grew up, and the confidence, I think, coach, the confidence that it does for a young kid to say, I can do this, right? I can do this. Now I know. I mean, he's going to come in next time feeling good and knowing he can do it. He was successful his first go around. So I think that's huge for Tuloso Midway moving forward with a sophomore backup quarterback that you heard coach here. It's still open, right? But definitely he's in the run for possibly taking over the spot next year when we lose our quarterback. Coach, let's talk about the other levels of football. Like I read up a lot on Tuloso Midway. I know you're excited about the seventh grade A and B team because they beat a very good program. You've been talking a lot about these kids and playing in that youth and how they've gotten better. And they beat a Sinton team, a very good program, well coached team out there. And they get the win. So I know you were excited about that win, but let's talk about the other levels as well. What's going on with the junior varsity freshmen, and talk to us about the middle school and this victory that the seventh graders had over Sinton.
Yeah, last week our JV went to Heavenville. We beat Heavenville. I believe it was like 28-0, 28-6. It was a good win. And then yeah, last night, I was here. We had eighth grade here, played eighth. Sinton brought their eighth graders. So we had a and B team here. Both teams lost, but a lot closer game than last year. I think they're getting better, that eighth grade group. And so we're just excited about their growth, and trying to get them, to the high school level and get coaching those guys. And then really excited about our seventh graders. Yeah, they went down there and they both A and B team got the wins over Sinton. And there's those guys, Coach Troutman and those guys do an awesome job with that program. Always have. Sinton's gonna be one of those staple South Texas programs. So we're excited about that seventh grade group, and I've mentioned that it comes from our youth, our youth league, that vertical alignment you hear people talk about, them growing up want to be warriors, and so they're our first group coming out of TMYFL. So I attribute a lot of that success to those guys at the TMYFL, and they're doing such a great job, and I'm excited about those groups coming up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. Even in junior high, they're coached well over there. All the groups are,
Yeah.
and I think that says a lot about where we're at, right? Being able to go over there at that middle school level, our eighth graders taking a loss, but competing, getting closer, and then our seventh graders getting a win. That's huge. That's huge for the coaches. That's huge for the players. It's huge for the Tulsa Midway program to be able to compete with a good program and come out with a win. Says a lot about what we're doing there at TM. Is we're doing it the right way, and kids are learning, and we're getting better every year, and that's great. So great to hear that from our other levels of football here with Coach James Villarreal on the Coach V weekly podcast. Now, Coach, let's get to the game that's coming up here on Friday. You'll be traveling, I think, to Cabinets, or is it Buck?
We're at Cabinets.
Cabinets. It'll be Cabinets. Game time 7:30, Coach.
So 7 o'clock, all CCISD games, like when they hold them, they're at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. So it's a 7 o'clock game at Cabinets. The Tuloso Midway Warriors will be traveling there to Corpus to take on the Carroll Tigers, a team that right now I believe is on a high all week, right? They beat Cal Allen. Coach, I'll be honest with you, I didn't think anybody but maybe their coaches and players and possibly fans, because I definitely didn't have them going in 0-3 against the Cal Allen team. Definitely I had Cal Allen winning it, but Carroll showed a lot and definitely a lot better than what their record shows. Coach, when we talk about Carroll, I just want to throw you some stats out there on that Cal Allen game. I'm sure you already know, but quarterback Nick Cantu threw for 232 yards, threw to his receiver Ignacio Ariano, 5 receptions, 135 yards. So they can throw the ball. What are you expecting from Carroll? Obviously, I look at it this way, in my opinion, right? We can run the ball. We're going to run the ball. Damian Figueroa said on Monday, ain't going to stop us. We're going to run the ball. I love that kind of talk. But They passed, Coach, and they passed pretty well. I think against a pretty good Carolina defense. What do you expect from Carroll to do, and what do we have to do on the flip side to get that W and stay undefeated?
Yeah, I actually know Carol really well. So two of the both coordinators there, they actually coach with me at Vets. Coach Garcia is the offensive coordinator. Coach Charles Harris is the defensive coordinator. Harris coached cornerbacks and our defense, and then Coach Garcia was the O-line coach there at Vet. So I actually know me and Coach Garcia are really good buddies. We probably talk weekly. This week has probably been the least amount of talk we've had, just because it's. I'm actually playing two. My Coach Lester Johnson and Moody. I played them, and then now Coach Garcia. So, and I don't mind scheduling my buddies. I think they're a very well coached team. I think Carroll is trending, just from knowing CCISD, they're trending in a very good direction, and I've kind of known that. Coach Netherlands, awesome too. I've known him since he's been there too, so pretty close to those guys. So I'm actually excited to go play them again. It's a competitor deal. It's kind of get bragging rights. It's not a district game, so we kind of get bragging rights for a year. We scrimmaged them last year, and after we scrimmaged them, I knew I wanted to get them on the schedule because I knew they were kind of trending in the right way. They have huge numbers. I think they're kind of like what Vets was numbers wise when they opened that new school. Since Carroll's open, they have huge numbers. They probably have two JV teams and two freshman teams and A and a B. So um, that's always going to be good for a program. They all go one way. They don't have very many two-way players now. I think that's what's helped them so far, and you're kind of seeing it peak with the Cal Allen game. I went to the first half. I actually went and watched the first half. And so they did a good job, man. They threw the ball well against Callan, and Callan was kind of outmatched that first half. And so um, we're excited about getting that opportunity to play somebody like Carroll, and our kids are excited for the opportunity. You want to play good people in pre-district, you want to play people that are going to challenge you. And I think us playing London and their passing game has kind of helped us to kind of see where we are with coverage wise against these guys. And they do have a good running back. Muhammad's a really good running back, one of the better ones in the area if he gets going. So it's going to be a challenge for us defensively. And then offensively, they shut down Cal Allen's offense, who, we've been running the ball well. So I think it's going to good. I've been telling you it's a good litmus test, I guess, for us these next 2 weeks, this week, and then obviously Alice, but this week, playing some good people to see where we are as a team. And then we can go back and keep fixing. Like, we're still moving guys around and trying to find our starters, our guys in every position from special teams to defense, offense. So I'm just excited to go and compete, against those guys.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I thought it was going to be good when I saw before the final results of the Cal Allen and Carroll. Of course, for fans and podcasters, it just steers the pot, right? Because Carroll just beat Cal Allen. Forget
Yeah.
about the record. Now everybody's talking about it. They're going to take on Toledo Midway, a team that's it's undefeated. I mean, so it's the run game against the pass game. Whose defense is going to step up. It's really good for us to be able to talk about it. But for you as coaches, it's just another day, right? For the players, it's just to go. This is what we do. We're going to play a good team. We're continuing to get better. But coach, am very, very excited. I wish I could go to the game. I can't because I got to call another game already. But I'm going to be there watching it. Um, I think it's good, and it's going to test us whether we win or not. I think we're going to learn a lot from this Carroll game going into the Alice game. And once these two games are done, whatever the results are, I think we're going to be better for it going into district.
Oh yeah.
And because we're going to see some good offense, some good running. Alice has that quarterback that's really, really good out there. And then you're talking about Carroll. So our defense is going to see two good offenses and then two good defenses going into the next 2 weeks. So it's going to be great. Warrior fans definitely would like for everyone to travel out there to Cabinets, pack those stands, be loud. We need everyone to cheer our TM Warriors to a victory. We definitely want to go 5-0, but I know for coach, it's not about staying undefeated. It's about winning the game, getting better, and doing the things right. I know for you, because you say that it's about being in the right position, understanding what we need to do. We get the win, that's great, but you definitely want to see improvement from what we're doing week to week. So, going to be a good one. Cabinet 7 o'clock. TM Warriors taking on the CC Carroll Tigers. Coach, I'd like to get your final thoughts here before we let you go. Anything else that you'd like to add? I know I really enjoyed the podcast with Coach Shelby Chopper. She'll be coming up here at 4 o'clock. I've seen some of the stats. There were some of those girls. My goodness, they had two great games, Coach. There
Oh,
with Calhoun and Beaver, good programs, and it went.
they've had some close ones that they've dropped. And she came over today. She's upset about it, but I think, it's going to help them grow. Obviously you got to take those losses and just learn from them. So, and I know they'll do that. They've done a good job all year. It's just, it happens, so,
It does. It does.
yeah.
And it was good. I saw the sets. I mean, it's not like they blew us out. I mean,
No,
she
no.
talked a little bit about that. I think it's going to be great, Coach. I can't make the Cal Allen Tuloso Midway at TM because that's on a Friday, but I'm definitely going over to Cal Allen when they play out there. I hear this rivalry. I hear the gym is packed. The sport. I want to be a part of that. I don't want to film. I don't want to interview. I just want to go out there and be a fan and watch some good volleyball. So I tell Coach Chop, I can't do the Friday one at here because I'll be at a game, but Tuesday I'll be available. I'm heading over to Cal Allen to watch that when they play. Coach, anything else you want to add?
No, man. I just thank you for all that you do. Appreciate you shedding light on our kids and our coaches and letting our community kind of see what we're about, what we're trying to achieve with our program. And not just football and all, volleyball you're interviewing, and we'll be doing some basketball. So I think it's really good for our community to see our coaches, hear them, all they see is on the sidelines, but kind of see what the big picture is for all of our programs. I think is very important. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. No problem. I enjoy it. Like I said, TM starting. I'm becoming a warrior now. I'm listening. I'm driving. This is no lie, Coach. I'm driving down to work or coming back from work, and I'm hearing the Tomahawk song. It wasn't even on my playlist on Spotify, and now I have it there. So,
There you go.
TM, there you go. TM definitely growing on me. When you
You got to
talk to
make it
Coach,
out. You got to make it out to a game. Our games are an experience. Like our superintendent, Mr. Van Matry, does a great job. We actually hire a whole production team. They do all of our home games, music, and it's choreographed. And we have an event. Last week we had youth night. That was exciting. Our kids got to so our whole TMYFL they came down and they got to run out of the tunnel. We have a big entrance we do to like Enter Sandman. It's kind of our thing now that we've started, and the lights flicker. I mean, it's a production, man. And it's cool. It's really cool. They do a great job with it. I have meetings about how our home games are gonna go. That's kind of
it's
how
good.
big of a deal. But it's awesome because our fans, like we've probably sold more tickets to these couple games that we've had at home. It's almost matching like our normal homecoming numbers. So that's exciting. It's exciting for our community. They haven't had, a football program winning as much as we have, and since they've had a couple good years, but not recently. So we're just excited to put a good product out in the field and for the community. And so, yeah, I'd like you to come out and check out a game whenever you can.
I will. I will, Coach. Thank you very much. And the thing is too that I think that show, it's about hyping the fans up, right? Coaches, keep the buzz going. That's what the podcast. You keep it going in the community. You get the businesses involved. You get the community involved. Kids love that. Coaches love that. The kids love it, and then you got more kids that see what's going on. I want to be a part of that. If that's baseball, tennis, track, basketball, I want to be a part of something. Now that's exciting, and I think as a fan, when I go out there and you see that the lights, the music gets you going. The music is what get, I mean, that just pumps you up. It's Friday Night Lights, man. You hear some Thunderstruck, whatever is going on. You're ready to rock and roll. I mean, you came from a program out there and sitting where, you won a lot of games, I'm sure. I mean, that program's been good for years. So you know what it's like, to get ready and how a fan base supports the school. I mean, you came from a place where it's been like that for years, right? The whole town knows. It's like Refurio. That's all you do in these towns, right? Small towns. It's sports, it's football. So it's great that we're doing that in Tuloso Midway, Coach, and I'm definitely going to take you up on that. I got a bye week coming up here pretty soon, and on that bye week, I'll definitely let you know and be traveling out there. Again, thank you for joining us here. We are live. We will be going live every week now. As we talk to Tuloso Midway Warriors, the rest of the football season here with Coach V. Also, like Coach Talk, we'll get into basketball. The live stream will also happen with the other coaches as well. So definitely continue to tune in for the Coach V next Wednesday, 3 o'clock. Tune in. It'll be live here on the Gridiron 64 Sports Network. Coach, until then, good luck and I'll see you on Monday.
Thanks, sir.